Hey YouTube, this is Southern Prepper One and welcome to Boots on the Ground. This is real news coming from you, real people that are seeing it and reporting it, and thank you for sending me information. I try to get to all of it. I can't, but if you have anything to send it to Southern Prepper One, the number one, Southern Prepper One at yahoo.com. Let's get right into it. Our small business of the day is actually the National Ladies Homestead Gathering. It is a website, it is a message board, it's a community network board. It is awesome. I'm going to leave all the links. It's a place where you can actually make contact with other ladies in your area. They do have a Facebook page, they have a YouTube page, but basically they have this private gathering place where you can talk about things that, you know, Facebook would ban you from. So definitely check it out. If you're trying to network, this is a place to go. So it's the National Ladies Homestead Gathering, and I will give all the links for everything for you. This person says, I work at a golf club in Nebraska. Other than the steady stream of golfers, foot traffic is way down at the restaurant. Now we're only getting 2 to 3 tablefuls. People are not going out to eat like they used to. This is the Finger Lake region of New York. Thank you for your report. You've become my daily news source. I have heard someone else report a few weeks ago that Dr. Pepper had changed from 24 to 20 count cans, so I've been watching. My Walmart had an advertised rollback price on some Coke, and I looked at it, and it was only 18 cans to the case. Also took my son out to dinner. He drank 1 soda and asked for a refill, and the waitress said that they charge full price for the second one, so you'll be charged for a second soda. So keep your eye on that in case you find out that you had an extra soda in the large bill. My father works for a meatpacking plant in southern Iowa. I worked for them too for a time, and I can tell you that the factory is like Fort Knox. People don't get in and out without the proper clearance. They're very strict. And just last week, 3 truck trailer full of processed pork was stolen from the factory in the night. Later, they discovered a few miles away and they were empty. And just yesterday, my mom and I talked, and that they had discovered it was part of a larger ring that had been hitting other facilities. From what they can tell, Chicago's hit prior to us here in Iowa. And for them to be able to get that much meat out of the facility, transfer it to another truck, and get away with it, this is like a first-class bank robbery. Actually, one day, their pork might actually be worth more than robbing a bank. People might be robbing food other than banks. I work at a deli in Missouri at the Walmart. Our orders are not getting filled. I added pictures of my empty fridge and freezer. My boss isn't sure what the problem is. He's unsure whether it's because they don't have the product or if Walmart corporate office is canceling our order for some reason. We're out of roast beef, half of our turkey, most of our salami. We have no bread for sub sandwiches, and we have almost no food for the hot case like potato wedges, corn dog, and chicken. We're also out of many of our packaging items. This is just my department. I know produce is missing quite a few things like potatoes, and the meat department is also the low supply of certain things like chicken wings. So Walmart can't get what they need to sell. My daughter is a leasing agent for a 300-unit apartment complex just north of Kansas City. She had hand out 99 late rent notices on September 4th and told us yesterday that almost none of those late rent notices have been paid as of the 5 p.m. on Monday. We live just west of Denver, and the Toyota dealer and other dealerships by our home is almost completely empty. There are a few used cars for sale, but there are no new cars actually sitting on the lot. Apparently new cars have to be ordered months in advance, and when they come in, they're already spoken for. I've heard large deposits have to be placed on these vehicles too. We're in need of a used car. In the past, Craigslist has worked well for us. You always had to be quick to respond when you saw a good car posted. However, now cars that are in good shape, one owner, well maintained, etc., disappear within 2 hours of posting. Prices are also $1,000 to $2,000 above what they were supposed to be. Even junky ones. My husband is a city engineer for a small town up in the foothills. He has contractors at one of them just laid off 7 of their 40 employees because they're unable to get material they need to do the job that they are contracted for. Our grocery store is pretty well stocked. Things seem a little empty or short, but most of the time they got things. What is difficult is everything is 20 to 100% more expensive, especially canned meat, which is doubled what it was 18 months ago. This person stopped at a farmer's market in Fort Blackmore, Virginia. Jalapeno peppers, 10 cents each, but they were sold out. Tomato boxes went from $8 a box last year to $18 a box now. Roma tomatoes in boxes were still yellow or green. Cucumbers went up a lot since last year. Corn in short supply. Potatoes were present but very small, half the normal size. Same with onions. Beans and peas look dried out, not freshly picked. The harvest is about 2/3 of last year, according to a local farmer I met there. Employees said that many are picking early to maximize shelf life and get ready for an early winter. Saturday, I went to get a John Deere battery. I went to Tractor Supply in Grand Rapids, Michigan area. They did not have the battery for the tractor. We went to another location and they didn't either. We finally ended up at Family Farm and Home. They had 2 batteries for the tractor. We didn't want to go to a local John Deere dealership because they're very expensive. Also, Dad took the injection pump off the John Deere 4020 to get a seal kit put in it. He went to the shop in Grand Rapids, Michigan that rebuilds injection pumps, injectors, and turbos. They had to send it to another location because they had no technicians that can do that anymore at their location. They said it's probably going to take a month before the pump is done. This is over in England. The government is preparing to use carbon paper to make copies of important documents if Britain is hit by devastating blackouts. It's part of their doomsday plan. They fear that the energy crisis could cause power cuts this winter. So they're thinking about using carbon paper. At least they're thinking ahead. Also, this person reported that this is California, $22 for fast food wages. It used to be at fast food jobs for young high school kids who are seeking a transition. It's not really supposed to be used as a career. Nowadays, a lot of people need it for a job, so it is a career. So they're asking $22. They want $22 an hour, and that'd make it about a little less than $46,000 salary. Benefits generally run 30%, so add that to the 45 and you're up to about $60,000. Any idea how the restaurants will pay for this? Once again, underserved areas will lose this service, but the rich areas will continue on their merry way. This is based on assessments from growers, and here's the high points that were given to me. This is from a person in the know. This year harvest, and this is potatoes, is 10 to 20 days behind in Idaho, Colorado, and the Southwest. Supplies will continue to be tight this month. This year's harvest will start to be available in October. 2023 harvest overall will be smaller than usual, but not as bad as previously anticipated. Potato supply should be tight, but available starting in a few more weeks. This was information from Britain that the UK cops are preparing for greater civil unrest this winter. And this was probably because people cannot afford food, they can't afford electricity, and they might have a hard time keeping warm this winter. This is from the Houston area. Home prices are rising in Houston. When I moved into this apartment complex that I'm living with my mother, a 2-bedroom apartment was about $1,200. My mother passed away and I moved to a 1-bedroom apartment. My 1-bedroom apartment is now $1,136. It went up $94 in 1 month. My electricity has gone up from between 10 and 12 cents per kilowatt hour to over 18 cents per kilowatt hour. I went from an electric bill that was less than $100 a month to an electric bill that is now $185 a month. This is from the New Mexico, El Paso, Texas area. La Cruz, New Mexico, so somewhere in that area. Produce is absolutely horrible in our store. Shelves are stocked, but eggs and milk are usually low. Food prices have always seemed to be going up along with fuel prices. As for the stores, I see a lot of the parking lots are filled with cars. Restaurants are packed. People driving through the long lines through, I guess, restaurants. So sometimes I wonder if our areas are just lucky or there is a lot of panic in other areas, question mark. The freight trains running through the area is way less and now shorter in length. You used to see a lot of trains and you would have to wait at the crossing. Now that they hardly ever happen, so I don't have to wait. Car dealer lots can't hold cars. They sell so fast. From what I hear, as fast as they can get them in, they are sold. Housing has been booming since 2019 out here, mainly now because most of the people moving in the area are from California. Let's switch gears. One of my children enrolled a class that sent me in a new part of town. I ran into the longest line of parked 18-wheelers I've ever seen. Truck after truck after truck, parked and empty on the side of the road. I counted 23 trucks before it turned off. The trucks were from a large variety of companies. So it wasn't just a fleet of trucks from one company parked on a public road. They were from many companies. The road ran parallel to I-10, but the road immediately behind where the truckers were lined up was a residential and small homes. It just looked very odd to me, as it wasn't an industrial area or an industrial street at all. It looked very odd, out of place. All I can think is, are these trucks have no loads? I don't know. There are many areas nearby for large trucks to stop and park. I don't know what this is, but this is not normal. I plan to return to get a video. Very strange, out of place on a residential street. No idea. I'd love some more information on that. This person has a theory about the appearance of expired or nearly expired food appearing in the stores, and this is their theory. This is their opinion. This is the food that the government had stored in their doomsday bunker to protect the bureaucrats when the crap hits the fan. Now it is a perfect time to rotate that food out and replace it with fresh food so they can sell it back to us and deprive us of fresh food, right as food is about to disappear. No idea, but thank you for sharing that opinion. I live in the suburbs of Houston, to the west. My boots on the ground this week is that things are changing rapidly here. While out and about in town, I've noticed a trend that's new. My local Dollar Tree shop has a police officer watching the parking lot. I thought it odd and maybe a fluke occurrence until I went to the local Kroger's for grocery and saw an officer in a squad car there too. He had his car backed up so he could watch the Kroger, and I'm assuming the gas station also. Both shopping trips were in broad daylight hours in a generally low crime area, so the heavy presence tell me crime is way up and they are preparing for it. This person also did some traveling, and they did not see as many cars on the highway. When we got to the hotel, we were only one of only maybe 6 families through the entire weekend. When we sat down for my daughter's birthday dinner in a hotel dining room, there was only one other family there on a holiday weekend. The entire restaurant was empty otherwise. They had things pulled down as much as possible to save money. The lights were low, air conditioning was warm, portions were small, workers were sparse, the bulk of the service were not running. Every other ceiling light was turned off. I sincerely hope people are listening, paying attention, and putting back as much as they can, and doing everything they can to get ready. I feel like we're about to see a massive business closure. My husband works in bankruptcy and insolvency. He doesn't startle easily, and his eyes were gigantic. I think people that would have denied our nation's financial problems a while ago are now seeing the mess we are in. I think we're not far from the point where the general population figures out that there is a crisis. I hope people are working hard to harden their homes, because once everyone catches on the reality of limited supplies, the shortage will send unprepared people frantically looking for food and whatever else they don't have. The signs are starting to show up faster and faster. I'm thankful for this community and hope everyone is really working. Pray, get healthy, and keep prepping. These really are unpredictable times. This person started buying the coffee, and in 2021, they've kept track of the progression of the prices. So basically, I will sum it up. 7/27 of 21, they were paying about $12 for a bag. And they gave all the other increases, and then let's jump up to 8/19/22. It was $16.48 a bag, so we're about a 36% increase in a year. The moral of the story, they said, was they checked Amazon and were able to get, I guess, the same coffee for a lot cheaper. So look around. Lessons learned. It pays to shop around for the best price. But they got a deal on Amazon. If you find a good deal on something you need to regularly use, buy tons of it that very day, because it will go up in price. And they did notice when they bought it at Amazon, it did go up 2 days later, 14.7% at Amazon. They also said, we will make do without coffee if this continues, the prices. Unfortunately, I had some medical issues recently and discovered how our system is failing firsthand. We only have one hospital left in a nearby city. I live in upstate New York. An ambulance ride to the ER last night opened my eyes. It has turned into a homeless shelter with people sleeping in the waiting room with all their belongings. The staff was passing out snacks, water, and socks. There were several clearly disturbed individuals screaming and misbehaving. They put the incoming patients from the ER service in the waiting room since there was no beds available in the regular waiting room. We were all crowded in the walk-in section. My husband and I waited 9 hours. They thought I had a heart attack. I never saw a doctor, but at midnight, I signed myself out and had an RN take out the IV. He said, I don't blame you. This is chaos. I just found out people refuse to go to this hospital. Really sick people are at the bottom of the pile. Take care of your health. Find alternative remedies. Stock up on medical supplies. You're going to need them. P.S. I made an appointment with my regular GP and I'm doing okay. So that's good to hear. We lost power in Dallas on Sunday afternoon, and although the power was restored in about 24 hours, we realized how unprepared we were for a local problem. All the batteries were dead. The house phone did not work because it was tied to our internet. Our cell phones were not charged all the way, and we could immediately hear crime growing all over our area as soon as dark fell. I literally could hear people going through the alley looking for open vehicles, so I sat up all night with my equalizer just in case. The reason we lost power on our block was because of downed trees in the alley. For more than a year, we have tried to get the power company out there to clear hundreds of limbs hanging over and onto the power line in the alley, but they won't or they can't get to us. We now have a new sense of urgency to deal with getting some solar or some emergency backup power. I want to let you know of something I observed near me. A small new development is going in across the way. It looks like they're not putting in individual mailbox, but instead like one of the large style bank of mailbox right at the entranceway into the development. A podcast I listened to mentioned a report of a very small town losing mail delivery service and needing to go to the nearby town to pick it up. Based on the podcast and my observation, I wonder if the post office will be cutting back on mail deliveries. This person is in the Lynchburg or Forest VA area. Bottled water, just in short supply there. I'm wondering because they're, I think, sending still tons of bottled water down to Mississippi to deal with that shortage down there. This is out of northern Illinois. 3 of our Walmart superstores around us are limiting the purchase of canning supplies to 2 of each, meaning 2 packages of jars and 2 packages of lids. Prices have also gone up. The shelving are displaying prices of $9 and $11, but when they ring up, they're scanning at $15 and $17. I also followed up about the vandalized garden a couple weeks ago. I spoke with an officer who initially responded to the community garden plot theft, and I guess they reached out to her. She advised that with the increase in evictions after the moratorium has been lifted, along with increase in rent for apartments, that police and social services are seeing more homeless individuals along with families spending time in the park or sleeping in the car. Our plan now is to set aside and get extra canned goods for donating to the local food bank, along with making a monthly monetary donation. Still have more to report, but there you go. Please, whatever you're doing, continue to prep, continue to prepare for hard times. Nothing you buy now will be wasted. Only buy what you normally eat. Keep your security posture high. There's so much crime. I'm not even reporting all the crime. It's getting out of hand in some areas. So you are responsible for your safety. Do not count on the police. They might have good intentions, but they are not everywhere. Thanks for watching.